Whenever I created content with the intention to sell something, it would never do well. Even my own clients would tell me that it sounded like a commercial. And to be honest, I didn't even like making that type of content either because it felt like I was desperate to sign clients. But every time I spoke from the heart or just shared something that I was learning on my journey, that type of content was always the ones that do extremely well. They get the most followers, the most engagement, and ironically make the most money. You see, I come from a sales background, so I always had the mindset that I needed to hunt for my next meal. But when it comes to content, instead of trying to catch the butterfly, I completely shifted my mindset to building a garden to attract opportunities to come to me. And it was this mindset that allowed me to get to over 340,000 subscribers on YouTube and over 7 figures in online sales using my personal brand. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 4 key mindset shifts that allowed me to make this happen in hopes that it inspires you to build your own garden.
Now, to start things off, let's go into why attention equals sales. And I have this quote that I'm paraphrasing from Alex Hormozi, and he said, if everybody on the planet knew exactly what your business is and how you can provide them value, do you think you would make more money? The obvious answer is duh. Of course you would make more money. So the problem that we all have is not enough people know who we are. Now, this is very contradictory to some older advice, especially over the last year that's been told by a lot of people, where they basically said you should go as niche as possible so you can attract buyers into your ecosystem and sell them. The problem with this is that if you go so niche in today's market, your videos end up barely getting any views. And I would do this in the past where I would go super niche, and yes, you can get clients, but you have to wonder, if 100 times more people knew who you were, would you be able to make more money even if that audience wasn't super niche? Absolutely. So I think of it like this. Let's say this is you, right? And your goal is to get as much attention as possible because you're going to convert that attention into dollars. So naturally, if we zoom out, wouldn't it make sense that the more attention that you get, the more money that you can make? Now, if you know this reference, this is Dragon Ball Z, Goku being Super Saiyan, right? And he's doing the Spirit Bomb. If you don't know, it's fine. So the idea is the more attention that you get, the more money you can make. Yes, there are some scenarios where if you go you go for the cheap views and you're just doing things for shock value, yeah, those views don't mean nothing because you can't monetize it. But if you're getting attention in the right niche for the right type of person, of course you want as many people to know you as you want. Anyone who says to you online, oh, I like to keep my following small, they're lying. Secretly, behind the scenes, they want more people to know who they are so they can make more money. That's just the fact. So when I'm watching YouTube, I don't like to just listen to what people say. I like to see what they do. So if you look at these videos here, let's say Alex Hormozi drops a video called How to Change Your Life. If you think about what he's doing, is he going for the super niche, business owner, or is he just trying to get as much attention as possible and find little pockets where he can monetize? Obviously, he's trying to find pockets where he can monetize, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't make this type of video. Like, you have no idea what's going to be inside, right? Or this one here, 26 harsh lessons I learned in 2025. It's just as mainstream as it can get to attract as many views. The mathematics of business explained. What kind of business? What niche are we talking about? Are we talking about every type of business on the planet? It's not just Alex. Let's say if we look at Dan Martell, same thing. Give me 59 seconds. I'll delete your fear of starting. Starting what? Right? Starting a business? How to level up so fast, you need to reintroduce yourself in 2026. We literally don't even know what this video about, but still hundreds of thousands of people watch. And let's also look at Iman, right? The smartest route to $10,000 per month in 2026. He's not even telling you what business model that we're going to go after. He's going after people who kind of want to start a business online, right? And he's going to sell you something and convince you that his business model is going to be the best. Making money online is a video game. Here's how to win. As you can see, all the biggest creators I'm showing you, they're playing this game. They're trying to get as much attention as possible so that they can find different ways to monetize. And you'll notice if you look at what are the services and products that they sell, they're selling many different things to many different people at all different price points. So let's talk about how you can get some inspiration from these tactics and get your own attention so that you can attract people to your offer. So I've been experimenting with this concept myself and applying it to my Instagram. And really over the past, I would say 2 months, I really started to take Instagram much more seriously. So when I first started, I was doing very specific how-to content on how to, build your personal brand, how to create content, all that kind of stuff, right? It was a nice place, lighting is good, a lot of editing, all that kind of stuff, right? Now you would think oh, wow, this must be really good. You put so much production time into it, right? And you're teaching how-to content. They just kind of did okay. It wasn't really amazing. But what changed was that instead of going so niche and teaching someone how to do something, I took a different approach and said, okay, you know what? I see all these other guys going much more broad. They're talking about general self-development and somehow that attracts a crowd where they can sell them, you know, pretty much like offers, right? Like online courses and coaching and all that. So let me try this too. So the first video I did where I actually experimented with this idea was, you know, cringe equals success, right? And I saw this idea pretty much trending on Instagram and X, and I had my own spin to it. So the idea is basically, hey, whenever you're trying to do something new, like start a business or build a personal brand, you're always going to get a bunch of haters, right? Now, this is a video where anybody can relate to it because we're all trying to improve ourselves. We're all trying something new. And typically our environment doesn't really support us doing that, right? And so they try to pull us down like a bunch of crabs in a barrel. So I basically just gave my perspective on this idea. And this video got like 20K views, got me a bunch of hundreds of followers, and lots of leads as well. And you would think that because it's such a general video that, you know, my auntie could watch and still get value, it would be too broad, right? Because it's in self-development, and I mentioned a couple keywords like personal branding and online business, the algorithm showed it to the right people and showed it to people who are aspirational, want to start a business, which is like pretty much everyone in the world at this point, right? And people that want to improve themselves and, you know, have a, you know, baggage from their community hating on them. And this works. And so I just started doing more videos where it's not even produced. I'm just filming it in my room, but more focusing on the idea and going more broad. That pretty much 3 to 4x the amount of engagement and views I've been getting on my Instagram. And to verify that this content actually works and attracts clients and generates sales, we've actually generated sales from this content through Instagram already, where we DM our followers, we have a conversation with them, and then I get on the phone with them and I see if they're a good fit to join the program. Obviously, people like, you know, some of this like more educational, aspirational content, but they also like, you know, me just doing Muay Thai videos or me hanging out with my girlfriend, me going on vacation, right? You know, telling my story, quitting my 6-figure tech sales job, traveling the world, living in Vietnam, all this stuff. Like this is actually what sells people a lot more. Or this video, you know, point of view, you just made $4,000 in a day, then you train Muay Thai with the boys. It's just a general video everybody can enjoy, right? I'm not even teaching anything actually. I'm just showing the end result of all the hard work I put in. And this is the content that actually sells, believe it or not. So if we were to look at this spirit bomb over here again, right? And let's say our goal is to amass as many views as possible, which is this blue circle. What I'm personally doing is focusing on a niche, not really a niche, but a category that relates to a lot of people, which is self-help. And if you notice, all the biggest creators who have hundreds of thousands or millions of followers, if you count how many self-help videos they publish versus how-to content, you'll find they're going to be like, 2026 is the year you lock in, right? You're going to see a bunch of those videos because this type of content just attracts the masses. Now, within somebody's YouTube channel, you're going to find more business specific content where it goes into more of the how to start a business, how to find clients and things like that. And then it's going to go maybe even more niche of like, okay, I'm going to show you how to do it specifically for Instagram. But you see, if you only focus on every day, I'm going to be talking about how to grow on Instagram. Yes, you'll get an audience of like of people who want that specific thing, but they only like you because you're giving tips on that one thing. But if you were to build a personal brand, an actual brand that where people like you and they're going to follow you, you know, no matter what you do, going more broad and, you know, going outside of your narrow niche business content, self-help content, you know, going more broad, casting the wider net allows more people to come in. And then you have to really read the room, right? Sometimes you want to go really broad, get as many people in as possible. And then you'll find like, oh, we're not converting as much. So let's go and make some specific content now that we have an audience. But if you don't have this audience to begin with and nobody knows who you are, you can't even go specific and like, you know, spear the fishes, right? So cast a wide net and then narrow down and hit the right targets. So some examples of like sniping, you know, your clients and like getting the ones, you know, who are qualified to come on a call. I'll personally do videos like helping a stranger build a $7,000 per month business because this documentary shows my expertise and authority and I help someone achieve a desired outcome of what they want. And if someone has watched some of my content and then they watch this video later on, they're going to book a call because they're like, oh, that's exactly what I want. If you think about like what actually gets the most amount of views, it's going to be these kind of topics where I remember I did a whole series on dark psychology and on how to sell anything, right? And this one has like 693,000, 100,000, 169,000. Like it was so successful. I made this video like 5 times in a row because it was just doing really well. This one got 300K. And then when it didn't get many views anymore, because pretty much everyone kind of copied me, then I stopped doing it and I moved on to the next thing, right? But my point is these kind of dark psychology videos gets me a lot of subs, gets me a lot of views. And then when they go on my channel and they subscribe and they see my other more narrow targets, these are the things that actually push them over the edge to book a call in order to see if it's a good fit. And I would say for most of you guys starting out, you should probably spend 70 to 80% of the content you make on these top of funnel, trying to get as many views as possible that is somewhat related to your niche. Because if you only make niche content, you just don't have enough people coming in through the door. So go broad first, then narrow down. At the moment, this seems to be one of the best strategies for social media, right? And of course, it ebbs and flows and changes, but for right now, and personally what I'm doing, yeah, this is the way. But even if you understand what type of content to make, the next important step is actually figuring out what format you should be making your content in. Because if you don't choose the right format, one, you're not going to be competitive in your niche. Number two, it's just going to be a pain in the ass to make these kind of videos, and you're going to burn out and you're going to eventually give up. So my goal is to help you pick a format that you can sustain and it feels effortless and authentic to who you are. To explain what a format is, think of it like a vehicle where you have content, you have ideas, you put it into a format and you put out into the world. So an example of that is, let's say Daniel Dalen, right? His format is primarily vlog. So he'll personally vlog his life and show what's up. He'll sometimes mix it in with some educational content, sitting down, like literally at his desk, teaching something. So sometimes he mixes it, right? Outside, then inside desk, which makes it kind of easy to make the videos. Other people do a certain style, like for School of Hard Knocks, they specifically focus on interviewing successful people on the street. Like their whole channel is literally just one style. And you know what? They sell a whole course on how to be, successful in business and whatever, right? So even all these different people might be selling something very similar to each other. How they get people in the door is very different. And as you can see, like each one of these videos is getting millions of views, not even including Instagram and TikTok, and it's working for them. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're making like millions of dollars per year doing this. Now, if you look at Alex Hormozi, he has many different formats, right? One of his most popular ones is he has a script or probably like a loose bullet point, and he'll just sit down, have different camera angles, and he'll just explain something, right? So traditional talking head style. He also have this format where he's working with clients, answering questions live. Sometimes there's a crowd. It's almost like, I think he just gets his paid workshops, records it, and turns that into the content itself, right? Challenges as well, right? I helped her start a business with $0, Simon Squibb. So it's like literally investing in someone's business, documenting the entire process in order for them to, see if they can make this person successful. And of course, all these people have the same goal, which is to get as many eyeballs as possible. You notice these are a lot of top of funnel type of content built to get as many views as possible, and then they're going to find a way to monetize. So the question is, when you're thinking about content, what's going to be the best format for you that you can stick with? Because there's no one size fit all. And I'm going to give you a formula for you to decide which one you should be choosing. So I have this format for you. It's super simple to do. It's basically this. You have your unique advantages multiplied by the demand for that format divided by time and effort. So let's break this down. When I say unique advantage, what am I talking about? That is the way you look, the way you sound, how you dress, your philosophies, your beliefs, your values, the fact that, hey, maybe you live in Vietnam like I do and you're building an online business. Maybe you speak multiple languages. Maybe you have a really nice physique and you look good and you're going to use that to your advantage to get more views, right? Everybody has some kind of unique advantage. You just need to figure out what it is for you. So for me, I've learned that people really do judge a book by its cover, right? So a lot of times I'll post just Muay Thai pictures of me, training at the gym. And you would think, oh, that has nothing to do with building a personal brand and making money online and things of like that. But actually, I asked my clients who are my paid clients for high ticket, and we're on a group coaching call, and I asked them when you guys joined the program, how important was the fact that I trained in Muay Thai and I keep myself fit and I work out? And everyone was like, yeah, dude, that's pretty important. Then I asked them, is it important that I left my 6-figure job to move to Vietnam to build an online business and just have that whole narrative? And they were like, yeah, super important. And then I asked, okay, well, what about when I show videos of me and my girlfriend just hanging out, does that really make an impact, to determine whether or not you buy? And everyone was like, yeah, absolutely. So then I was like, oh, okay. So what's going on here is my unique advantages of how I look, how I sound, who I hang out with, where I live, the lifestyle that I have. That is my personal unique advantage. There are other people where their whole personal brand is locking in a room and they're just doing whiteboard videos all day. Yeah, maybe that works for them because they built a whole brand about locking in and just being in a room 14 hours a day, just grinding. Whereas my side, I want to have fun. I want to train. I want my life to be good in all aspects, not just in business. And so that is my personal unique advantage, right? So for you guys watching this, what is your unique advantage? whether it's a hidden talent, a skill that you have, some kind of work experience that people find respectable. Like for me, I used to work in Silicon Valley. That's a whole narrative in itself where I left it all to build my own business, right? So for me, I'm going to attract a lot of people who have really good jobs, high skilled, making six figures, but they want to do their own thing. And because I walk the path that they're looking to walk, it's significantly easier for me to sell them if I'm showing this in my content. Whereas in the past, like years ago, I wasn't doing this at all. I was just teaching how to. And it worked because again, like you go super niche, you do attract an audience, but they don't really like you as a person. So I totally flipped my content style to focus more on my personality, and it's been working really well so far. Now, a really important lesson in finding that unique advantage, it needs to be very natural and authentic to you. Like if you have to prepare a lot for a video, like spend 2 weeks writing a script, it's not natural. It's not what you do on a day-to-day basis, right? For some people, they're just living an interesting life. So when they vlog, they just pick up the camera and start talking, and it's some interesting content. Whatever it is that you do, it needs to feel like play. It needs to feel like you're not trying at all because it's just who you are. And that's going to make the content creation process so much easier. Otherwise, you're going to feel like a robot that's all stiff, reading line by line, and people can feel it, right? It doesn't feel like it's like real. Now, next thing is going to be demand. So basically what I do, and pretty much like all the creators do, is we're constantly looking for different type of formats to see like what's popular. An example I gave you earlier was these street interviews, where it's not just School of Hard Knocks doing it. Like you'll see this in all types of niches where people just interview other people on the street. When you see that there's demand for a certain format, you can literally just copy it and do it for your niche or your target demographic, right? So sometimes just picking the right format that people want to see just works. If everybody wants to see talking head, do it. If people want to, see street interviews, ask if that's for you. Ask if you want to travel around the world and talk to people. If you do, great, do it. If you don't want to and you want to stay in your room all day, this is not the format for you. And if you even try, it's going to be forced and the content's not going to be good. Next thing is time and effort. Pretty self-explanatory. The longer it takes for you to make the content, the more friction there is, the more you're not going to want to do it. Especially in the beginning when you're starting out, you need to be whipping out content like every day, right? Whether it's a long form video, you got to post at least once a week. If you're doing Instagram, you got to be posting every day. So if you're spending a whole week to do a 1 minute Instagram reel, that's taking way too much time, and you're probably going to fail because you're not going to have the momentum and success you want because you don't have enough volume because it takes too much time. The other thing is effort, right? Like if you really have to put 10 hours a day, 5 days a week to make one reel, like you ain't going to do it past, 4 weeks. But if it's just like, I'm just going to take out my iPhone and start yapping on the camera and somehow people just like my personality. Yeah, this is so fun. I'll do it 3 times a day. And you'll notice on Instagram, there are people that make this work. They just yap, for like 2 minutes straight and boom, that's a video. They get 1,000 likes. It may not be for you, but for some people who are good at that, it works really well for them and they're going to be consistent and they're going to succeed. So when you're thinking about your format, you take all of these factors together, and what you're going to get in the end is if you can have some kind of unique advantage. Like let's say, I'll use myself as an example. I'm an online entrepreneur who quit my 6-figure tech sales job and moved to Vietnam to build this business, right? And I focus a lot on lifestyle, balance, being good in all areas, wealth, health, relationships. That is my personal advantage. So if I want to get a cool clip of me traveling, which I do all the time, I can just like book a plane ticket to Japan tomorrow with my girlfriend and we vlog the whole thing and bang, that's the content. I don't have to put in any effort because that's the life I live, right? So that's a unique advantage. Demand. Do people want to see that because they see aspirationally like, oh, this guy's doing this, I want to do it too? Yeah, of course there's demand for that, right? Because they really want to have that lifestyle, especially if they're stuck in a 9-to-5. So I got the demand there. Time and effort. If I'm vlogging something I'm already doing and it's fun for me, does it really take much time? No, I just put the camera there, hit record, right? Effort, is there really much effort? Not really, because it is the life that I live. So that could be one unique format for me. Or if I do these whiteboard talking head videos, how easy do you think it is for me to just turn on the camera, everything's already set up, I press one button, turn on the lights, and just like draw my whiteboard? Easy, right? That's why you see me posting a lot of these on Instagram, because it works, people like it, it's easy for me to do. So why wouldn't I do it? Now, once you find your format, you're gonna just keep repeating it over and over and over and over again. Because if you look at the most, like let's say the most popular Instagram people that you follow, right? Do they constantly use the same format again and again and again? Yes, because it works. Why would they need to reinvent the wheel? Now, what I'm learning is the smart ones constantly experiment with different formats, right? You just try it out, and you can try it as a trial reel, meaning it doesn't have to go on your feed. So what I'm doing is there's certain formats I know work for me. That's my bread and butter. I just keep running it, right? But it doesn't mean I run it every single day. I'll mix it in with just like a new style. One day I might try yapping on the phone, see if it works for me. Another day, maybe I'll do a whiteboard. Another day, maybe I'll interview one of my clients, right? So I'm constantly testing to see what's going to work for me. And when I find maybe 3 to 5 formats that work, all I need to do is keep rotating between the 5, and it's not going to be stale for my audience. But if I do like whiteboard videos, every single video, it becomes really predictable and people get bored of it. You got to mix it up sometimes. Once you do find a format, the thing you need to understand is that you're probably going to take a lot of inspiration from other creators, reverse engineer what they do, get their outliers and do it for yourself, right? And other people, when they find success in you, they're going to copy you. So you're just going to get a sea of copycats of everyone copying each other. So if you want to attract clients and you want to show them that you're different from everybody else, what is it that you need to do? And that is, you need to start adding some sauce. So I'll explain it like this. In an era of AI, in an era of copycats, anybody can get the same information that you teach with a press of a button using ChatGPT, right? And it's only gonna get better and better, the AI at least. So the question is, why would they watch you versus using AI or versus any other creator on the platform you're creating content on? And the answer is honestly your personality. I'll use myself as an example. When I came out with this video, dark psychology sales techniques to sell anything, it was pretty much the first video that combined the dark psychology and sales together. As far as I can find, there's no other video that did it before I did. So because it worked really well, you're gonna see all these other people basically copy the idea, right? Even if I were the originator to the idea, it doesn't matter because another guy copied, then the other guy saw the other guy, then they all copy each other, then you don't know what the original is. So who cares, right? So this guy has it, dark psychology, sales techniques to sell anything ethically. Ooh, what a spin, right? This guy's doing it too, right? 7 dark psychology sales techniques to sell anything, right? Sounds pretty familiar. All they did was change the number, right? Same thing. He literally copied the thumbnail. Same thing. They all copied my thumbnail as well, right? Am I mad at it? No, because that's the game, okay? So I'm gonna show you how I think about making content how do I keep standing out even if people copy my best ideas all the time? And we're gonna use this triangle here where we're talking about 3 things. The first one is what you say. When it comes to what you should be saying, I like to use this adoption curve where when somebody comes up with an original idea, right, they're considered an early adopter. So let's say I came out with dark psychology, sales techniques, whatever, it's here, right? Then you're gonna get all these people that copy, and then like 6 months later, you're gonna get more people that copy, and you get a lot of people copy at the end, right? So the more people that copy, the less effective it's gonna be. So for me, it worked really well, so well that I made the video 4 times in a row, and they all pretty much worked. But as more and more people copied, the supply for that type of content keeps going up, but the demand doesn't necessarily go up with it, right? So you're not gonna get as many views over time. So if you're too slow to copy an idea, like you're late, you shouldn't really expect to get many views, because you can say, oh, like it worked for Patrick, like he is a crazy outlier, right? So I'm gonna take the idea. But you need to also think who else also already used the idea, because if too many people used it, you're not gonna get any results. You're gonna get the most results if you copy people here as an early adopter, meaning you're gonna see 1 or 2 people use the idea. Within the same month, you're putting out your video, maybe the same, next couple of days, you're putting out the video that copies the idea, and then you're gonna benefit from writing that demand because you are early. So sometimes it's not the best content that gets the most views, it's being early a lot of times. So that's what you say, right? Timing, of course, is probably one of the most important, but to differentiate even further and show you're different, what you say in the actual video needs to be different as well. So if you include your opinions, your perspective, maybe you disagree with what all the other gurus are saying and you have like an opposite approach. Like you can take the same title and thumbnail, but then inside the content, you can differentiate. If you're just taking somebody's script and just rewriting it with ChatGPT, it literally is just a copy of what another person said. And how is that original? People are going to think of you as a copycat and they're not going to think of you as different. If you're not different, you're not better. If you're not better, why would they spend money with you? The next thing is how you actually say the content. So back when I was in college, I would say my voice was definitely on the higher side. I'm going to exaggerate a little bit, but you'll get the idea. So back in the day, I used to sound like, hey guys, what's going on? I'm Patrick. If you were to exaggerate it more, hey, how's it going? I'm Patrick, right? Now, if I did a whole video like that, do you think people would listen to me? No, they wouldn't, because you would say, oh, he doesn't sound very confident. He's not very manly. I don't want to be like him. I don't feel like I can trust him, just based on how I sound, my physical body language, how I look, all these things, because we do judge a book by its cover. Now, for me, when I realized this, because I took a communications class in college, I went on YouTube and I was trying to find different examples of people that I can take inspiration from. And one of the guys was Diplo. So I'll play you a clip of him recently doing an interview for you to notice his voice.
Fast track. And I'm like, kind of want COVID a little bit, but then, it's all part of the process. Because if you put a record out, it's important for people to hear it,
Okay. So back then, when I heard his voice, I was like, wow, that's really cool. He's talking like this. It's very manly, very cool, very calm, collected. He's not making his voice all high like Mickey Mouse, right? It's like very attractive voice in my opinion. I took inspiration from that and I tried to like lower my voice a little bit, but still make it natural. And it just became normally the way I speak. And I'm not saying that you have to do the same thing, because you're going to find different things attractive or cool. So talk the way you want to talk, but make sure it's cool. It's different. It's like something like, it's something that people want to hear. Otherwise, they're not going to listen to you. And these days, what I'm noticing, especially in like the, guru kind of space, speaking with conviction right now is really popular. So when you speak on a subject so confidently and you look at the camera directly in the eye and like exactly what you're talking about, that's kind of what people want to see these days. The truth is sometimes the person doesn't even know what they're talking about, but they're just so good at convincing the audience that they do know what they're talking about that everyone just believes them, right? That's just the truth. Now let's go into the next thing, which is vibes. So for vibes, it's really just the feeling, the colors, the aesthetic, the color grade, just how it feels overall, especially on Instagram. On Instagram, you can use copyrighted music, right? It's not like YouTube where people care about ad revenue and stuff. Everyone's using, sounds that they don't own, but, popular trends and things like that. When you make a reel, the song sometimes makes or breaks the entire content. Like, it doesn't even matter what the person's saying, doesn't matter what they're doing, doesn't matter what the visuals are. If the audio is just like off, the sound is not clear, or the music sucks, you're probably going to scroll to the next video. So a big differentiator is just the vibes, how you do the lighting, how you do the camera, right? Now, it's so important that sometimes people act very performative, where they'll get one of these, right? And then they'll do like a green screen video and then they'll put the microphone to their mouth and be like, hey guys, today we're going to talk about how to grow your following on Instagram. And it's like, at first you think, oh, like it's so natural, it's so real. They're just using like their, Apple EarPods microphone for this video, right? So I trust them. But it's gotten to a point where people are faking the authenticity. They're going to be using lower quality cameras, digicams. A really good example of this is actually Kai's Mind, right? So Kai Cenat, one of the biggest streamers right now, he's basically documenting his journey starting a clothing brand. So you're going to see some videos are very highly polished. They got a whole camera guy probably with a gimbal and everything. Looks good, audio's good, everything's like super highly produced, right? But then he has these other videos that get like, 700,000 views, and it's like reading for 15 minutes to help me speak better. He'll use like a cheap, camera with like low resolution. And you have to really think, a guy like this has a whole marketing team behind him, right? It's not like he's just, oh, I happen to have this phone and it's pretty shitty, so I'm going to use this one. No, they literally sitting down thinking about, how do we make this like feel authentic and real? How do we make it more relatable so we can sell more clothes, right? Like, of course, they're never going to say it publicly like that. But for me, as a creator myself, just being in the scene, yeah, of course, these are conversations you're thinking. You're not just randomly doing it. And so when you put all these things together, from what you say, how you say it, and the vibes, it's going to make your content and your personality feel so much more different from everybody else. And the main thing that I really want to get the point across is, if you think about all the things I shared with you in this video, I'm not talking about, oh, like you got to make this kind of content, this kind of content that attract people. At the end of the day, what I've realized is it's all about being an attractive person. It's all about being an authentic person. When you're able to just be yourself, create content consistently, pick a format that you can constantly do every single day without giving up, and just say things and pick the right content at the right timing that has demand, say it in a way that's different from everybody else, add your flavor, your sauce, put in the color grade, the music that you actually like. That is actually what's going to separate you from everybody else. And when people perceive you as different, they will see you as better and they will naturally just come. Most people, especially like older school content creators, like especially the ones that started like years ago, right, that are teaching this stuff, you know, back then it was just about how-to tips, how to do this, top 5 camera settings or whatever, right? And yeah, these have value, but the world is moving on. Nobody cares about these tips anymore with AI and a bunch of copycats. What they care about is you. So if there's anything you can take away from this video, is be your authentic self, so much to the point that nobody can copy you because only you can be you. Now, if you enjoy this video and you want to take the next step, you should check out this video where I dive deep into how you can become a niche of one. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one.